Hello, dear friend. In this video, we will talk about the reasons why your horoscope doesn't work. And first of all, before we get started, I just want to exclude the generalization and the possibility that astrology doesn't work overall. I've been working this since 2013. And trust me, I know that astrology does work. But sometimes you may find that you just don't understand, or certain things just don't match the general interpretation. And those are the cases when you see or when you think and you believe that your horoscope doesn't work. So I will share with you the four major reasons why this could be the case. The first one is actually a very practical one. If your time of birth is not accurate, it could be because your mother doesn't remember correctly, or because people tend to round up the numbers. For example, when I hear that someone was born at noon, honestly, I'm really suspicious of that. Because, of course, there are certain people which are born at 12 p.m. sharp, but not so many. And very often, if the time is 11:45 or 12:15 or 12:30, people may forget about it, and it's easier to say at noon or 1 p.m. or whatever. So this is one of the major reasons. If your time of birth is not accurate, you don't know it exactly, or the information is misleading. And here I want to assure you that every minute may count. For example, at 11:45, your ascendant could be in Aries, and at 12 p.m., the ascendant could be in Taurus. So within a couple of minutes, sometimes there could be a major difference in the chart. And your horoscope says you are a Taurus ascendant, you should be very calm, very grounded, very practical. And yet you are actually very impatient. You confront with people when necessary. You want to do everything independently. And you say, okay, but I'm not really like a Taurus person. Of course, because the time of birth is misleading. So this could be very, very important. My advice, make a research, ask all the relatives, check the birth certificate. Don't believe too much your birth certificate, by the way. My experience shows that, for example, in India, they value astrology a lot and they use a very accurate time in most cases. But it, depending on, the place where you were born, the culture, sometimes people just don't pay attention to that. So make your research, and the best you can do is also rectify your chart. The rectification is an astrology technique that allows you to find your very accurate time of birth, in many cases within a minute or less. Unfortunately, this is a very advanced technique, so I can't promise you that you can do that on your own. My advice, find a professional astrologer who will do this for you. If you need my help, I'm always available. Check the links below. So number one reason is an accurate time of birth. It's very clear the information is misleading. It's just not working the way it is supposed. Number two, reason number two. This is something that comes from psychology. It's called projection. And let me explain how it works. Very often in the horoscope, we may find contradictions. There is an indication, for example, which says that you can be very kind, very polite, a very delicate person. For example, you have a strong Libra energy. Venus is in Libra, trining your moon. So yeah, you should be a very delicate diplomatic person. But at the same time, you have other indications which may show that you're quite impulsive. Sometimes you might be aggressive. Sometimes you might be harsh. Let's say that you have also your Mars in Aries or Mars in conjunction with the Sun or something else. So from one side, you are delicate and diplomatic. From another side, you are aggressive and harsh. What's happening? Which of those are you? Sometimes what happens in those cases is that we recognize one of those sides. For example, it's because of other indications, because of the culture, you recognize the diplomatic side of yourself. So this is what you see in yourself consciously. And the other side, the more aggressive, the harsher, the impulsive side is suppressed. It's like a curtain, like a blind spot. You don't see it, you don't recognize it. And what happens in those cases is that you project that into the outer world. This energy does not disappear. You can't imagine that it doesn't exist. What happens is that you attract other people or circumstances in the outer environment which will represent this energy. So a very typical situation. We see that there are indications. You could be harsh sometimes, maybe over impulsive, maybe even aggressive, or you may confront with other people. And the person says, well, no, not really. I actually hate those things, but I seem to attract them in my life. I'm always communicating with someone who is aggressive or who is abusive, my boss, my mother used to be like that, or my partner or my child. You see what's happening? You are projecting those qualities that you don't want to recognize in yourself, and someone else comes in your life and plays this role. Astrology can be extremely helpful because if you recognize and you embrace and bring those qualities to daylight, you can change your life. Literally, the people you attract in your life will change and their behavior and their attitude will change. So this is reason number 2 why there seems to be an indication which you just don't recognize as a quality. One of the major reasons is that you are suppressing this, you are projecting it, and someone else will play this role for you. Okay, reason number 3. You don't know how to interpret the different combinations. This is a pretty common, pretty natural situation, which luckily is really fixable. What you need is more knowledge and more practice. If you read about different interpretations of things that are also contradictory, it's very important to know how they work in combination. And that knowledge comes with more information and also more practice. A very simple example. Let's say that someone has their Venus in Aries. And Venus in Aries is actually pretty passionate, exciting, impulsive, and it brings this strong, intense, kind of like burning emotions. So you read this. On the other side, you have your moon in Capricorn. The moon in Capricorn will bring a filter, and externally, your behavior might be completely different. You may not show this impulsive emotions, those burning emotions. You may actually be very cautious, maybe even a little distant, and it's just a different combination, which is important to understand how things work. In this combination, the accurate thing to say would be internally, you're very passionate, very impulsive, your emotions are maybe a little bit immature, but externally your behavior is very cautious, you act like a very reasonable person, you're trying to do the right thing. So it's always important to know how to combine the different things. And sometimes that's the reason why it may seem okay, but it doesn't work properly. Those interpretations are not accurate. No, the problem is that you just don't know how to put all the pieces together yet. So the solution here, it's the simplest actually. More knowledge, more practice. That's it. And the fourth reason, this is our final reason why sometimes it may seem like your horoscope doesn't work, is that the potential hasn't been revealed yet. Okay, so imagine a child. It's very logical, we understand that when a child, when a baby is born, they don't know how to do almost anything. Instead of, their instinctive needs, they don't know anything else. How to talk, how to walk, how to behave, nothing. Okay, and the more we grow, the more skills we can develop. So it's literally related to the growing process, physically, emotionally, mentally, in all possible ways. And it's quite understandable during our childhood, maybe even the teenage years. And I think that we expect that, for example, at 18 or 20 years age, we will be capable of doing everything, that we will be capable during our whole life. Well, very often it's not the case. Very often things may happen later. For example, you have a potential for having your own business. What great indications. You have Mars and Jupiter in fire signs in your 10th house. They are trining your Saturn in your 6th house, for example. There's also something else. So the chart shows that, okay, you can be quite independent at work, you can structure, organize things, you can be quite competitive and ambitious, you can have your own business. And for example, you are 25 years old, sometimes even older, it doesn't need to be this age, and you work for someone else and you say, okay, that's not accurate. I don't have my own business. It doesn't work. That's very superficial thing to say, honestly. It's the reason is that this potential hasn't been revealed yet. There was a very inspirational video about, I'm not sure, maybe it was only about women who have started doing something exceptional very late in their life. For example, they started um, painting after 70 years old or doing something else exceptional, and they have succeeded in this. Not just doing this for a hobby, but they have had a great success. And those were the ages like after 60, over 70, sometimes even after 80. That's really possible. And there might be indications in the chart which can show that certain things are blocked and it will take some time until you can use this potential. But always consider that this is like a general principle. The horoscope, your chart, doesn't lie. And there you may see a potential which hasn't been revealed yet because of circumstances, because of yourself, because it's not the time yet, different reasons. But keep in mind, if you see something as a possible talent, you may reveal this talent even when you are older. You may have the business, or you may succeed financially, or you may have a great marriage later. So this is very important, especially if you're maybe already 30, 40, 50 years old and you think, okay, I have already learned all the skills. I'm already a mature person. This is, as high as I can go. And where is this talent? Certain talents are revealed later in life, especially if we talk about something more significant and more important. So consider this possibility that certain aspects, positions, potential in the chart could be revealed later in your life, and it's never too late. So those were the four major reasons why sometimes it may seem like your horoscope does not work. Number one, inaccurate time, the solution, rectify your chart. Number two, projection. Work with psychologist or holistic therapist, or just analyze yourself and your life more. Number three, you don't know how to interpret the different combinations. You need more knowledge and more experience. You can start a training in astrology if you want to dive really deep in that. And number four, your potential hasn't been revealed yet. The solution, be patient, but also sometimes you need to be more initiative. You need to do something to start this process. So I hope this helps. If you need any other support, if you want a personal interpretation, check the link below to see the different types of readings I offer. There is a reading for every question, for every life area, and this may really help you to understand yourself and your chart much better. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget also to subscribe, to follow me on Instagram. I will share more astrology and psychology stuff and more inspirational things. Thank you so much and take care.